Hello and welcome back. So now we want to do the Bite2. So this is the image that we need to produce. We have already done this Bite1. So Bite2 is a modification of Bite1. So when we look at Bite2, it says edit the image to show 2 bytes. Save the image as byte2.csv. Okay, so we only had 1 byte on Bite1, which we have already done. So when we look into our Illustrator, we can see that this is the Bite1 that we had created. Okay, so having our Bite1 that we have created, what we want to do is to make another byte this side. Okay, so we want to see this also showing on this side. This is the question that we have. So what we are going to do is we are now going to go into our we copy what we have and put it in a new we copy it into a new workboard, right? So when we copy it into a new workboard, we just want to put it aside so that we create area to work on. So this is the image that we just copied and pasted in this new workboard. Okay, so now what we want to do is to ungroup. So we highlight our image, right? And then we right click to ungroup, right? So when we ungroup, we are now saying we want these parts to be separate. Okay, so these parts, now that these parts are now separate, we have ungrouped. We now want to take this apple part that we created on Bite1, we put it there. So now that we have this apple, this is the one that we want to work with. Okay, we want to do another bite. So I want to separate this one. Okay, so we just want to work with this one. So this is our apple that is 1 byte. So we are now going to continue and put another byte this side. So we use our ellipse tool, and then we draw like what we did the other time. So when you select the ellipse tool once, we go and click on the selection tool so that we can modify the ellipse that we want to imitate the biting. And we can also change the color so that it's white and we can actually see how the bite is going to look. Okay, so we can place it. And we're there, and we use our Alt. So Alt and drag will create 3 more. Okay, so we are now just adjusting. So this is our apple with the bites. Okay, so we can see that when we look at our question paper, we will just be trying to create, as you can see, if you draw a line on this part here, it feels like these bites are going down deeper than this side. Okay, so that's why we are also trying to make sure that it goes down a bit. So when we go back to our Illustrator, we are going to say, okay, if we draw a line there, it's going to go a bit down. So when you are satisfied, we then use our shape builder tool. This is our shape builder tool. So we highlight our images. And we want to remove shape builder. We click on minus. Okay, so in drag, it can actually show you what it's removing. All those areas that have been highlighted are removed. Okay, and we don't want that as well. Okay, so this is what we have now. Okay, and then this, we want it to show that there was a bite that also affected this part. Of course, this one, we will not need this one anymore, so we remove that one. So keep checking our question paper. So it has to be there, but it was affected by the bite, and that one, the small one, we no longer see it because it was taken off away. Okay, so we will go back and we highlight, we put it there, and then we highlight. Then we use our shape builder again. Click on Alt so that we see the minus, and then we highlight without drag, and then we can see that we now have our apple that has been bite. Okay, so now we are going to have a copy. We don't want that. We just want a copy. This copy, we want it to be the color of this one now, because this one is not going to work for us. We now want to use this copy that we have created. So we are going to pick a color. We can use our eyedropper to just pick this color so that we don't need to create the color again. Pick the color, and we then just delete this, right? So we have this shape now. Okay, so what we also need to do is to make sure that these are grouped. Okay, this, we put it out there. Okay, let's ungroup again. Okay, now that we have this one and this one, these are our shapes, we want to group this first. Let's group this one so that it's one, and it's going to be easier for us to work with. Okay, and we can move it slightly again. Okay, so now we are going to group these together. Group. Okay, so that this one becomes one shape. And this one, yes, we want it at the back. But you can see that it's not showing fully, so we are going to use our shift. We click on shift and we drag it. Okay, so we have to drag it till we are satisfied that it's now showing. So it's showing at the back of our shape, and we modify So you can actually be seeing that this is how it's going to be showing. So we modify the look. So we are just placing it at the back of the red apple. And what we want to end up with is this red apple showing the one at the back as the bites that have been done. Okay. So it's all about your placing. Okay. So when you are happy with the placing, you can then use the shape builder again now to do what? To now remove the one on top. So when you are looking at the shape, it has to make sure that the points for the shape builder to work well, we have to make sure that the points that we are seeing, these points, the points of the one that is outside, they have to go on top and make sure that they are coming out like this so that they can separate this part. You can see that point there. You can see the point is also going out, and you can see on that side the point is also going out. Okay. Okay, so I want to adjust the one on top to just put it down a bit. Because what we are just doing is shaping the inside so that it comes the way we want. Okay, we are just shaping so that whatever we are going to end up with, we are going to be happy with our final. Okay, so now let's highlight the two and use our shape builder. So we use our Alt, and you can see it's highlighting that part, and we can use our Alt again to remove that part. Okay. Okay, so we can see that this is the final. Oh, we have to make sure we group before we move, because these are two different shapes. Okay, so when you look at it, you can see that you can see the bite in there. So you highlight and group so that it becomes one shape. Okay, so now when you place, you can right click, we can send to back so that it's easier to place it where we had our original, and we need to bring our head. So when you have done that, we now highlight again and group. Okay, so this is our final product. We can now look at the question paper again. See, okay, you can see that one is cut, and this is how it's showing, and you can see that bottom blue, and yeah. So we can now save this as our bite2.svg. So we can go back to our Illustrator, and we go on to File, Save As. Then we say Bite2. Exactly as it is on the person paper. Let's make sure also that if they are capital letters, let's maintain that. You can see that the B starts with a capital letter. So let's use a capital letter as well. We are going to be saving our Bite2. We want to save it as SVG. And so that's it. And we have saved. So this is the final look of our apple, our Bite2. The Bite2 that we have added is this side. We already had done this side. So we just modified that. We can also have that side. So you can also try it. It's bye for now. Let's meet in the next part of the question.